All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Camille Sinclair. I am the marketing coordinator for the Mona School of Business and Management, and welcome to our virtual information session. This evening, you will have an opportunity to find out all you want and all you can about the 8 graduate programs that we have on offer here at this school. We will be guided by the Director of Marketing, Ms. Janice Henlin, who I will now hand over to officially begin our webinar.
Thank you very much, Camille, and good evening to everyone. And as Camille has said, we're really delighted to have you all with us, joining us for this session this evening. Today, we want to first of all thank you for your interest in our programs. We do acknowledge that you have choices, so we thank you for the interest shown so far and that you've even decided to spend a part of your evening with us. We congratulate you on even this decision, because we believe that this decision to pursue higher education is one of the most significant decisions that you will ever make. And we commend you for taking this first step. So this evening, we have a very tight program planned for you in order to provide you with as much information as possible to guide you in taking the next steps towards graduate success. We have online a team of faculty members and program coordinators who are here to answer your questions. So we ask that as we go through the program, just place your questions in the Q&A tab. So remember, please use the Q&A tab, and even as the program proceeds, our team will start answering your questions for you. And then at the end, we will have a Q&A segment where we will actually read some of the questions aloud so that everyone can benefit from the answers. So that's how we'll proceed for the evening. But once again, thank you for coming. And we hope that this evening might be very fruitful as you seek to get answers to some of your questions. So without further ado, I'm going to invite our Executive Director, Dr. David McBean, to do the official welcome and to give you his own remarks. Dr. McBean.
Okay. Thank you very much, Janice. And a hearty good evening to all our prospective students online. And, you know, I'd just like to reiterate the welcome and to really thank you for considering MSBM as one of your choices. We feel that MSBM is an excellent choice. It is a premier business school in the English-speaking Caribbean and one of the top business schools in the world. Our MBA is ranked by AMBA, which is one of the 3 top ranking bodies for MBAs or accreditation bodies. And our programs are also ranked very highly, both globally and in Latin America and the Caribbean, by EdUniversal. I'm sure you'll hear a little bit about that later. But what we pride ourselves in is that we produce leaders. And that's what we're known for. So for example, the head of Scotiabank, who you may have seen doing a testimonial video for us, Audrey Tugwell, she is an MSBM graduate. The head of the Army, the Rear Admiral Weems Gorman, is also a graduate of MSBM. And the head of the JCF, Dr. Kevin Blake, is also a graduate of MSBM. So we span both the public and the private sector. And that's one of the things that we recommend to people, that our rigorous programs, we prepare for leadership in your company, in your own life, and in the country generally. So thank you very much for being here. I look forward to welcoming many of you when the new semester starts in September. And I know for some of the MBAs, we'll have an initiation in August. So we look forward to having you. I know many of you will be in the middle of the application process. So again, use today to ask any questions that you may have. and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McBean. I was actually. Thank you very much, Dr. McBean. We have a little video here now. So I think I'll proceed. Thank you. We'll have that later in the program. So I know everyone who is here has really come to hear about the programs that we offer. You may have seen some ad somewhere. You may have known someone who has done the program, but this evening you have come online to hear firsthand about the programs. So you can either justify a decision you've made before or make a decision having heard. And so it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Indiana Mintokoy, our Deputy Executive Director in charge of our graduate programs, to take us through the programs. I think before she comes, we have one other chance to have that video, but I won't come back before she comes back. So we'll have Dr. Indiana Mintokoy, who will give us a comprehensive overview of the programs. So we just have a little video until she comes up. So, Dr.
I do note that I'm up, Madam Chair. So I will proceed with the
thank you.
presentation.
Yes.
And then I'm sure that the video itself will offer a welcome break to my voice. Could you allow me to share my screen as well? Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. I hope you by now feel sufficiently greeted from our Executive Director, Dr. Matt Bean, and of course from our chair, Ms. Janice Henlin, who is the head of our marketing program. So my task this afternoon really is to give you a little more of a flavor of our programs at the Mona School of Business and Mona School of Business and Management. I'm reading my screen and speaking at the same time. It is indeed a pleasure to have you here. I warmly welcome you. Yes, it's warm outside, but I warmly welcome you nevertheless. So as mentioned, I'm Indiana Mintokoy. I'm Deputy Executive Director here at the Mona School of Business and Management with a specific focus on our graduate programs. And so without further ado, let me get into it. I want to remind you, even before I go further, as you see things, you may have questions that you wish to ask, please do go ahead and do so in the chat in relation to the programs. Okay, so I am looking forward to meeting many of you. I know now you're behind screens, but I'm looking forward to meeting you in August and September. And so where am I going to be meeting you? The ED mentioned that, of course, we're one of the best in the world and the best in the Caribbean. And so I'm looking forward to meeting you at the #1 ranked business school in the Caribbean, the Mona School of Business and Management, come August and September. And I want to give you a little more flavor of who we are before I go into the programs as well. So here you have on the screen a number of our accolades. Of course, some of those come by virtue of us being a part of the University of the West Indies network, with the UE itself having top-ranked global accreditation. And we do share in that as well. We celebrate that as well. Some of our programs specifically are also highly ranked, including, of course, our MBA program, which is ranked at the maximum 5 years by AMBA, which actually accredits the top 2% of business schools in the world. So again, when we say we're world-class, it's not for show. We really do mean that. And it's something that we continue to aspire to as well. So yes, we're the #1 business school in the Caribbean. We offer a range of graduate and undergraduate programs. So you're here for the graduate programs this evening, but we also offer undergraduate programs. We also offer cutting edge consultancy, public policy research, and this research and the consultancies as well feed into our teaching program at the business school. We're partners with the World Economic Forum. So we actually produce, administer the Global Competitiveness Survey for Jamaica. And of course, we are partners with the Project Management Institute. And we'll go into a little more of that. So yes, we have one of the dangers of doing these sessions at home, right? Forgive me for that. We have a number of global awards, and I want to mark in particular our MBA Business School Innovation Award that we won for our finance lab. And this finance lab is very unique. It's the only one, or rather the first of its kind in the Caribbean. You can access the Bloomberg terminal in this lab. So yes, you're going to be studying with us. You're aiming to get your best grades ever. But at the same time, if you want to invest, you want to learn about markets, what's going on in business and multinational companies globally, you can visit the lab and do that. The lab is also an integral part of some of our courses and programs, particularly in corporate finance. Yes, so we did win an award for that. And this is an image of what the lab actually looks like. You get the latest market data. So we said we're global and we are well worth it. You know, we consider ourselves big deals. And we do have a number of our graduates who epitomize the kind of excellence that we aim for at the Mona School of Business and Management. Some were mentioned earlier and some are on the screen as well. And so the idea is when you join us at the Mona School of Business and Management, you're actually joining an organization with a track record and with a history, okay, and a present as well. So as I said, I'm looking forward to welcoming many of you in a little while. So I mentioned earlier that we're actually AMBA accredited and that we have the maximum 5-year accreditation that an institution, a business school is offered through AMBA. And it's not a coincidence that we've gotten this award and this accreditation from AMBA. It's something that we've worked diligently and consistently to have, and having gotten it, we continue to work consistently to ensure that we do maintain this award. What does that mean for you? If you study with us at the Mona School of Business and Management and you do your MBA, then the reality is your MBA degree from the MSBM carries you anywhere. Because as I mentioned earlier, AMBA accredits the top 2% of business schools globally. And so that is a mark of quality, like a diamond, right? It's a mark of quality. It's a mark of world-class experience. And you think of a diamond, you think of something that's priceless, the best quality ever. It shines bright like a diamond, right? And that's what we aim for. That's what we've achieved through AMBA, and that's what we continue to work towards having. Our master's degrees are also, or MSc degrees rather, are also globally recognized by Ed Universal. And so in the 2023 to 2024 Ed Universal Best Masters ranking, 7 of our graduate programs were ranked among the top master's programs globally. For instance, the MBA was ranked at number 45. Or MBA is offered on a part-time basis, and it was ranked number 45 globally. Or Master of Science in Accounting was ranked number 9 in Latin America. And the reality is Latin America is one region, but it has many business schools in the region as well. We're ranked number 13 for the CBMIS, the Computer-Based Management Information System, number 37 for Enterprise Risk Management worldwide, number 28 for Corporate Finance in Latin America, and for our marketing and data analytics program, we were ranked at number 23. So we do aim to achieve those global recognition. Now, the programs that we offered, I just mentioned some of them and the accreditation, right? We, of course, have our Masters in Business Administration. We have our accounting, computer-based management information systems. We have our corporate finance, enterprise risk management, logistics and supply chain management, and marketing and data analytics, as well as our MSc in national security and strategic studies. And this latter program in particular has gone through significant review. And so we will be offering the new National Security and Strategic Studies program for the first time this September. In terms of the duration of the program, all our programs are offered on a part-time basis, but there are some exceptions where we do also offer a full-time offering. And this is the case in accounting, as well as corporate finance and the National Security and Strategic Studies program. Of course, our ability to offer some of these programs, for instance, the accounting program in a full-time stream will be dependent on how many students we do have who register interest in a part-time versus a full-time, or full-time versus a part-time program, okay? So, what are the general entry requirements? I suspect many of you have started the submission, but the general entry requirements are a GPA of 2.5 or higher in terms of your bachelor's or your first degree. Applicants who have a GPA below 2.5, we consider you in specific circumstances. For instance, if you have work experience and you do not have the required GPA, then we will look at that work experience. In some instances, we may invite you in for an interview to assess that you have the ability to do the program successfully. And I know sometimes when you're asked for an interview before entry, some people may be a little uncomfortable with that, but ultimately your success matters to us. When we go to our accreditors, for instance, they look at things like the rate at which students take our program and the rate at which they complete successfully if they have to resit courses. And so very much your success the first time around is in our interest. So these are the steps that we take to make sure that we can provide you the support that you need and that you actually do well when you do join us in the program. In terms of the program-specific requirements, this bit is important. The AMBA or designation, for instance, requires that students who enter our MBA program, that they have 3 years postgraduate work experience. That means that once you've completed your undergraduate degree, you must be in employment for 3 years after the completion of that degree before we can actually admit you into the program. And again, we guard the AMBA standards for your benefit as well. For the MSc Accounting program, we ask for a degree in accounting or a related field. All of our programs have a category for mature students. We all know that we didn't all get serious about books and schoolwork at the same time, right? There are some people, and circumstances vary as well. So there are some people who may have started schooling late or gotten serious about academic life late. So we understand that you may not have had the experience to do a first degree. So we do have a mature allowance where you've been working for a number of years. You may have acquired various certification along the way, short courses and so on. And so we do consider you as applicants and potential entrants to the programs. What we ask you in that case, please, when you're doing your applications, be sure to include your resume. Include your resume. If there are diplomas, training programs that you've attended along the way, be sure to include those, copies of those in support of your application to us, okay? So continuing, we also have our CBMIS program. And the requirement here is a degree in computer science, information systems, or any other management degree will also do. For the MSc in corporate finance, we ask for an undergraduate course in financial management. For mature students, you may also have work experience or professional qualifications such as the ACCA, and you can submit those again in support of your application. For the MSc in enterprise risk management, please note we ask for a GPA which is a 3.0 for your bachelor's degree and in a quantitative discipline. And I'm sure you can understand that the enterprise risk management program is highly quantitative. And so we really do, again, with you in mind and your successful completion of the program, we ask that you apply with a quantitative background. We also, again, have the allowance for mature students. So if you do not have all the qualifications as in a first degree, but again, you would have done training courses along the way or done quantitative courses along the way, please include those in your application. So the MBA and MSc delivery. When do you have to make time with your families and so on for when you will be leaving them to attend classes? So here goes. For the MBA, we offer classes in evenings. Sorry, evenings and on Sundays. So there are two streams for the MBA. There's a weekend Sunday stream, and then there's an evening stream. Then for the MSc in accounting, classes are also offered in the evenings and on the weekdays. For the MSc in corporate finance, remember we have a part-time option and we also have a full-time. So for the part-time option, we'll have classes from 10 to 5 p.m. on a Sunday. And for those who are full-time in the program, which means it's for 12 months, then you will do classes on Sundays and Wednesdays. For Sundays, it will be 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Wednesdays, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. or 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Okay. For the MSc in, I missed that one. For the MSc in, sorry, my screen is having a mind of its own this evening. For the MSc in Computer-Based Management Information Systems, we offer classes in the evenings and on Saturdays as well. For the Enterprise Risk Management, classes are in the evenings on the weekdays. And for our Masters in Logistics and Supply Chain Management, as well as Marketing and Data Analytics, classes will be offered on Sundays, 10 to 5 p.m., so 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And for the MSc National Security and Strategic Studies, or blended program, and that's one of the unique features of this revised and revamped program, we'll offer classes 2 evenings per week for part-time, and full-time will have 3 evenings per week for their classes. Now, what is your start date for your programs? For the MBA, we start August 10. And I'm going to explain a little more in a bit why we have that earlier start. But for our MSc programs, we will commence classes on the 1st of September. Okay, so 1st of September for the MScs, and the MBA will begin August 10. So why is the MBA going to begin so early? All of 2 weeks before the MSCs. So this is due to the specific nature of the MBA program. It's offered over a 24-month basis, and it's structured along what we call ICE, right? And the ICE there, the I is for immersion, the C for concepts, and the E for execution. So the three phases, the first immersion phase, this is what will take place in those weeks in August, where you'll have the opportunity to learn certain soft and basic business skills, including public speaking, and a number of other courses. And these courses are really important. This immersion period is essential because it's actually equipping you with certain soft skills, and not just soft skills, but other preparatory information and approaches and perspectives that we feel you will need in order to do well in the program, right? So that's what will take place in August. So it will be 3 to 4 evenings per week, plus your Sundays. Sorry about that. The C phase, the concepts phase, this will see you taking on 11 core modules and 4 concentration modules. The core courses, they will be delivered 3 evenings per week between 5:30 p.m. and 9 p.m. Or for those who are on the Sunday stream, then it will be all day Sunday, 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I know it may seem a lot, and it is, but I assure you it is worth the sacrifice. Then there's the concentration phase, which will be 3 evenings between 5:30 p.m. and 9 p.m. And the concentration will take place in the final in January, sorry, the final 2 semesters of your program is where the concentration will begin, sorry. And of course, the E in the ICE, execution. And this phase is essential. It's critical for you. It's critical for your ability to pull together and to synthesize a lot of what you would have done in the immersion and you would have done in the various courses that you would have done in the concepts phase. And so you will have an opportunity during this time to actually engage in addressing real-world issues, real-world challenges. And these are posed by organizations, differently sized organizations in different sectors that the school partners with in order to offer you experiential learning opportunities. We know many of you are already working, right? But at the same time, you may be working in different contexts. And so these projects really allow you key insight into how to develop projects, how to problem solve for businesses. Many of the projects that come to us from businesses who work with us throughout, so they'll work with you throughout as well, to come up with solutions, workable, practical, real world, tangible solutions, okay? And so this phase for the MBA will begin in January of your final 2 semesters, but for the MSc program, this will begin in the final semester. And this is just a sample of some of the organizations that we've actually worked with in the offering our final projects, including companies like Grace Kennedy Limited, SEPROD, the Separate Group, Jamaica Producers Group, and so on. We also have partnerships with Jamaica Business Development Corporations, JBDC, where we are able to offer projects. And yes, you do your projects, but sometimes there's also a little reward beyond your A grade that I'm hoping all of you will get. There's a little reward as well. So here is just an image of some of our students who've received awards, cash awards, from the from SEPROD, who have been one of our consistent partners over the years. And of course, you know, this is how they've marked and demonstrated their, you know, the fact that they do value the projects, they value the engagement. And so I hope that even though some of you will look forward to your final projects and the prospects that are embedded here. And I always say to students that once you do your final projects, it's giving you an opportunity to develop another set of skills. So while you're practicing skills that you would have developed over the lifetime of the program, this is also giving you an opportunity to develop new skills. For example, how do you present findings? How do you operate as a consultant, right? To develop strategies for businesses and so on. So you get those experiential opportunities through the program. Now, at the top of the presentation, I mentioned the fact that we are partners with the Project Management Institute, and this is through our professional services unit. So even as you think of your degrees and even as you register for your degrees with us, we also invite you to consider registering for programs, short programs through our professional services unit, or world-class professional services unit, led by Ms. Diane Edwards, where you can get various things such as short courses. You can get consultancies done for you. For some of you in your organizations that are looking for professional and ongoing development, you can go through our professional services unit for some of this. So there's strategic planning, corporate governance, digital transformation, information technology, financial management, and so many more. We also offer a range of services. We can develop tailor-made services for you as well. And this again is an idea of some of the things which we offer through our professional services unit, including staff training and development, and of course, human resource and talent management as well, okay? So I invite you to also consider some of our short courses and recommend the professional services to your individual organizations as well. We're partners with a number of global professional bodies. So again, like studying for your master's, like studying for your MBA, being a part of the MSBM, even through the PSU, also gets you additional global certification. So as I wrap up, when is the application deadline? That's going to be the 31st of July. And so we encourage you, if you have not yet completed your application, please, as I rally and compete with that dog out my window, I am encouraging you to make haste as well to make sure that you can, in fact, make your applications and submit it in full by the 31st of July. We, of course, marketing wouldn't forgive me if I didn't say that you can visit our MSBM website to also make your applications, to keep up to date on the latest developments in the school. You can also submit your documents online to assist in the completion of your applications. And of course, you can scan here, updated, right? You can scan here to submit any supporting documents, references, resumes that you may have. And again, I encourage you, once you submit your application, please do include your resume in it as well. And there, please reach out, keep in touch with us and support us through our various social media platforms. And I want to thank you so much for your attention. Again, I do look forward to seeing some of you, meeting you in August and September. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mintakoy. So that was a very comprehensive presentation, quite a lot of information, but you know, you have the opportunity to have it broken down through your questions. May I encourage everyone to use the Q&A tab to put your questions. When you put them there, you are more guaranteed of having a response, in fact, real-time response. So let's not use the chat feature for that, but let's use the Q&A tab, because even as we speak, questions are being asked and the responses are being given. So a number of people are putting it in the chat, but let me just ask you to go there. So we know we have several persons online. We have about 152 attendees. And again, we want to just thank you for coming. So we want to get an idea as to which programs you're interested in. So we're going to be launching a poll now, and please respond based on your first choice, because we know that you may have applied for more than one programs, but when we're asking which of the programs that you're most interested in, please indicate the one which is your first choice. So the poll is launched, and we just ask you to go ahead and respond, so we have a sense as to the programs that people are most interested in. So as you know, we have a range of programs. We have the MBA, the MSc in Accounting, the MSc Computer-Based Management Information Systems, Master of Science in Corporate Finance, Master of Science in Enterprise Risk Management, MSc Marketing and Data Analytics, MSc Logistics and Supply Chain Management, and the National Security and Strategic Studies. So again, we're interested in which of these programs you are most interested in, so just indicate the one that is your first choice. So the poll is launched, and we ask that you choose and indicate your responses so that we can get a sense of the level of interest for each program. So we'll give you another few seconds because it's one choice that you have, so that shouldn't take long. So we'll have the results shown on screen so that we all will be able to see how the programs are spread across in terms of the interests from our attendees. So can somebody indicate in the chat if you're able to? So here we are. So thank you, Alex. So what we see, we have coming on top, almost half of you, 47% of our respondents have indicated an interest in the MBA as their first choice, followed by the MSc Accounting, 13%, followed by the MSc CBMIS, 12%, Corporate Finance, 9%, Enterprise Risk Management, 5%, 7% for Marketing and Data Analytics, 4% for Logistics, and then we have 9% for the National Security and Strategic Studies. So we see a strong level of interest for the MBA program, and some people perhaps are still not sure what they want to do, but here we have it. So the poll is closed, and we thank you for your participation. Before the session ends, we'll launch another poll so we can just test the waters of where we are. So thank you everyone for participating in that, in that poll. And as I said, we have a second one coming up. So we have before we're going to talk about finances next, and next to the programs in terms of what programs we offer, what the programs themselves have, what days of the week, those kinds of questions. The most frequently asked question usually after that is about the cost of the programs, how they are financed, etc. So we want to invite Miss Merlin Reed, but before she comes, we have a little ad for you. Go ahead.
Looking for success in the world of business? It demands clarity of vision and the help of a strategic ally. And that is why I did my MBA at Mona School of Business and Management.
Accelerate your career with the right ally. Mona School of Business and Management. Explore our suite of highly ranked, globally competitive graduate degrees, including our internationally accredited MBA program. At MSBM, we nurture critical thinkers and innovative leaders, placing our graduates in a league of their own. Apply online today. Global knowledge, regional solutions.
Thank you. So we now have Miss Merlin Reed, the Director of Finance here at MSBM, and she will take us through the investment required to get the kinds of returns that everyone wants. Ms. Reed?
Thank you, Ms. Enlin. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the session. And I hope so far it has been very informative, and you looking forward to the questions and hope we can be able to answer them. Now, MSBM, as you know, are the graduate arm of the university, and we are responsible for collecting all fees from students and use those fees to supply the service to you. So this evening, I just want to share with you some of the cost as it relates to the different programs and to say to you what the cost and how you can pay those fees. Let me just get this screen going. All right. So some of our financial partners that we have worked with over the years, entities like Educom Corporate Credit Union. We have also worked with COK, Students Loan Bureau, and NCB. And we have worked with others over the years. Some of them are still not on board right now, but we continue to look for partners that we can work with to give you good options for to service your tuition fees. So we're looking first at the MBA program, and the duration is 24 months, and the program cost is $17,000 US. And you may notice this afternoon that we are quoting all the program fees in US dollars, but let me use this opportunity now upfront to say you have the option of paying in either US or Jamaican currency, and we'll give you an exchange rate usually at the beginning of each semester. And this 17,000 would include the tuition fees, ebooks, and other materials, and access to the finance labs, for example. How do you pay this tuition fee for the MBA program? At the beginning of the semester, and the MBA usually starts very early in August, you would be required to pay a 10% deposit, which is $1,700 US. And thereafter, you pay $2,550 per semester. That's over 6 semesters, or representing 15% of the program fee. And usually we hold the program fee for the duration of your program. So persons who would have started in 25, 26 will hold the program fee for 26, 27 also, usually. And we hope we can keep that trend. For the other MSc programs, we have accounting, logistics and supply chain management, and marketing and data analytics. These 3 MSc programs, we offer, if we have enough students for a full-time group, especially for the accounting, it will be over 12 months, and part-time 24 months. The tuition fee for the program, of course, is $11,000. And then remember, you can pay in both US or Jamaican equivalent. How do you pay that amount? Part-time, US $1,883.33, or just over 16.6% for the semester. And of course, it's 6 semesters, equally paid at the beginning of each semester. So your fees are usually due at the beginning of each semester. And that is what it would be for those 3 MSc programs. Another of the MSc program we want to look at is corporate finance. And the fee for corporate finance is US $12,000. If you choose the full-time option of the corporate finance, the program is offered over 3 semesters, and it would be $4,000 per semester, or a little over 33% per semester. And of course, it's due at the beginning of each semester. If you're doing part-time, choose the part-time option of the corporate finance, then your fee would be $2,000 per semester. Of course, the program is offered on a part-time basis over 6 semesters, and therefore you would pay an equal amount of US $2,000. The other two programs we want to look at is the CBMIS and the National Security and Strategic Studies program. For the CBMIS, the cost is 10,000 US, and for the national security, it will be US $9,000. For the payment schedule for the MSc Computer MIS would be US $1,666.67, or just over 16.6% per semester. And you may be wondering why I'm using the percentage. I'm using the percentage deliberately because sometimes persons working out their fees in their own way, and they're saying, but I don't understand why I have to pay this amount at this time. So I'm showing it per semester based on the percentage that is due, and also giving you the figure so you can look at it. For National Security and Strategic Studies, the fee, of course, as I said earlier, is US $9,000, and that would be $1,500 per semester, again, over 6 semesters for the completion of this program. The last one of our MSc programs is the MSc Enterprise Risk Management. And that, of course, is the cost of that is US $12,000. It's offered only on a part-time basis, which means the program will last over 24 months. And of course, the fees are due at the beginning of each semester, and the cost per semester for the ERM would be $2,000 US per semester. So this slide would show some important dates depending on your program of choice. For the MSc students, your tuition fee will be due around the 28th day of August. That's for your first semester, and that would include the first semester fees plus the miscellaneous fee, which I talk about a little later. MBA students, because you would start earlier in August, your deposit would be due at the beginning of the semester, and then the second payment, which is for semester 1, would be due closer to the end of September. Semester 2 fees are due by the second day in January, depending on if it's a weekday or weekend. But usually around the first week of January. Same thing for the summer semester. It will be due around the 1st of May, or the first working day in May. Miscellaneous fees. For those of you who would have done your first degree or even another master's degree on the university campus here, you would know that miscellaneous fees are a fee charged by the university to all students. All students registered in any program on the university campus are required to pay this. What we do, we collect it. It's the first payment that is made. The miscellaneous fees will be taken from it, and the same will remit to the university. For the 25-26 academic year, The miscellaneous fee is currently $38,080, and this is excluding the health charge, which is to be determined at a later date. The university is still working with health service providers to get a good deal, so we're not certain yet what it will be, but we will place this information on our website as soon as it is available, and we'll update you as to what it is. But so this 38, it will be a little bit more than the 38, but we are not able to say what exactly yet. But just want you to bear that in mind so you are aware of what we're talking about. And this, of course, is applicable to all programs. For the semester 1, we should begin soon in August or September, where for the first semester, the applicable exchange rate is set at Jamaica 160 to the US $1. We usually apply the exchange rate at the beginning of each semester, and we usually advise the students, therefore, if you would have been aware of what the exchange rate currently is on the market, and if there are changes, when there are changes, we usually advise our students, and we try to give ample notice time so you are aware. And please also be reminded that you have the option of paying either in Jamaican currency, or if you choose to pay in US currency, we'll accept anything. We have different payment options in terms of how you can pay your tuition fees, different methods: credit card, debit card, online by bank-to-bank transfer, or using Bill Express, etc. How can you contact us? That's the website, that's the email address, sorry. And this is also on our website. We have a direct WhatsApp number for the accounting unit. And of course, you can call the office and they will transfer you to either of these 2 extensions, or you can call the reception desk at this cell number 876-455-5508. You can call or send a WhatsApp on that, and we'll also get that information. They'll get that information to us, and we can respond to you as quickly. So any questions you may have regarding fees, how to access invoices, for example, or how to query any other thing regarding fees, feel free to send us a WhatsApp message or call us directly or send us an email, and we try to respond to email as quickly as possible. We thank you again for coming out this afternoon and being with us. And I want to just use this opportunity to wish you all the success in your application, especially for persons who have started but not yet completed. You have so little time. Please complete your application. And of course, we look forward to seeing you later in another month or so at MSBM. And thank you again for this afternoon, and I will be here to answer your questions as much as I can. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Reed, for providing as much information as you have. And as you've said, you'll be around to answer some more questions, as I know there will be. And I continue to encourage persons to just put your questions in the Q&A so that even as we proceed, you can get some of your answers. But you would have heard of some key dates, some key amounts. And so the onus is on you now to make the necessary arrangements from now ahead of the start of class. So one of the things, as it's on screen now, it talks about wishing you success in your application. We actually want to just launch another poll to have a sense of how many people online have already started that process. The deadline is July 31, but we do encourage you to start from now. So poll is launched, and we just ask you to choose one answer, which is, have you started the process, yes or no? So we can just test the waters to see where we are with the persons who are online. And we sincerely hope we have more yeses than nos, but of course, it's not too late if you haven't yet started. And I take it that some persons were perhaps waiting on some additional information. So we hope that we have provided that, or certainly by the end of the session, you would have had enough information so as to encourage you to hit submit, so that you too can join the ranks of the many who have been students of MSBM and are our alumni making their mark all over the world. So one question so we can get the responses now. And we see that most persons, so 70% of the people have started the application process. And the others who haven't, we know that by the end of this session, you will start. So it's one thing to start the process. Perhaps we should have had another question, but we won't, to ask, have you completed the process? Because we are mindful that several people have started but have not yet completed. And may I remind you, as Dr. Mintercoy had said, that the application is not complete until all the supporting documents have been submitted. So may I remind you that if you have any outstanding documents, please go ahead and submit those. So thank you very much. And for those who have started, we're happy that you have. So I mentioned before about the importance of starting the process, becoming a part of MSBM, and how that allows you to become not just students of MSBM, but also part of this larger network of alumni who are, and that's thousands of people, who are making their mark, not only in Jamaica, but across the world. And as a school, we are extremely proud of this cadre of distinguished alumni. And this evening, we want to just hear from two of them. We'll have recordings, firstly from Mr. Rory White. Rory is the managing director of Seven Crave. Everybody perhaps knows about Seven Crave. Rory did a first degree in actuarial science, but did an MBA and then started his own business. And it's important for us to just showcase not just the people who are bankers, but that you can be an entrepreneur and be an and do a graduate degree. Rory will be followed by Mrs. Anika Shuttleworth. She is the CIO at the ICT Authority, and she did the MSc in Computer-Based Management Information Systems. So we just want to hear from both of them. Rory followed by Anika.
I am Rory White, CEO of Seven Crave. My entrepreneurial journey was fueled by a pivotal decision to switch from actuarial science and pursue an MBA at the Mona School of Business and Management. The experience didn't just educate me, it transformed my vision into reality. The program offered me a deep dive into HR, logistics, as well as supply management, among other critical business strategies. MSBM is my ally. It wasn't only just about the classes. The camaraderie formed at the school was unparalleled. I met incredible individuals, many of whom have become lifelong friends and invaluable supporters in my business journey. Now, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, MSBM is more than an institution. It's a launchpad of future leaders. My MBA journey was transformative, and I would definitely recommend the MBA program at MSBM.
We'll now hear from Anika Shuttleworth.
Hello, I am Anika Shuttleworth, Acting Chief Executive Officer of eGov Jamaica Limited, the full-service ICT implementing arm of the Government of Jamaica. I pursued the Master of Science in Computer-Based Management Information System at the Mona School of Business and Management. Pursuing the program propelled my career in the areas of strategic management, project management, business analysis, including also business and product development. I had some really impactful lecturers. They were not only knowledgeable, but they also became mentors. I highly recommend this program to anyone considering a change from business to technology, or even wanting to get into the business of technology. Listen, don't overthink it. Sign up today.
So there you have it from those who have done the programs here. And as you've seen, quite a range from entrepreneurship, on actuarial science, to business, to technology. There is a program for everyone. And as Anika said, don't overthink it. Start the process now. So we thank our alumni, and as I said, we're always very, very proud of them. So we've come to the point in our program where you've heard a lot from all of us, and now it's time for us to take your questions. So many of you have had your questions answered already in the Q&A tab, but we will highlight a number of those questions on screen and have the answers said aloud for the benefit of all, so that everyone can benefit from some. Some of the questions are those that are frequently asked, and therefore, since it's important to you, we want to just highlight it, as some people might have missed some of the responses. So we will just, and these are your questions that we've taken, we've extracted those from that which you've put in the chat. And we have our panel, we have our program coordinators, we have Dr. Minter Coy, we have Miss Reed, who will be able to answer these questions. So we'll go through with some of those questions. So I'll read them aloud and we'll have them responded to in your hearing. So the first question is, are any of the MSBM programs offered fully online? And who will take that one? I mean, I could answer this one. We don't have any that are fully online, but we do have what we call blended programs where some classes are face-to-face and some online. Dr. Mintakoy mentioned, for example, that the MSc National Security and Strategic Studies, as of this September, will be offered in that mode. Previously, it was fully face-to-face, as most of our programs are, but the marketing and data analytics and the national security, those have a blended component, which means there's an online component and a face-to-face component. We have another question. I deferred entry until this year. Will access to the orientation package be sent in July as well? And the answer to that is yes. I'm interested in project management. Is there a program that focuses on the subject? Dr. Mintakoy would have mentioned that in addition to the degree programs, we do offer a suite of short courses through our professional services unit. And in fact, one of the most popular ones is the project management offering. So we do have not a degree program, but a short course that focuses on that. And I'll allow program coordinator, someone else, to answer next question. So I'm not. What are the specific entry requirements for logistics and supply chain management? Carol, would you want to take this? Carol Wedderburn, right? The program
Good evening.
coordinator.
It would be an undergraduate degree or equivalent, GPA 2.5 or over. So that would be the requirement.
Okay, so we've heard that the GPA requirement and an undergraduate degree with a particular GPA. Will the MBA be streamed in Montego Bay, or will we have to travel to Kingston? Ms. Marsh or Ingrid, would you want to take that question?
Good afternoon, everyone. There'll be no need to travel to Kingston to pursue the program. If we have the complement of students that need to pursue the program, we will have it as standalone. If they are it's below the numbers, we will still have sub courses as standalone in Montego Bay, but the others will be shared with the Mona students on Sundays.
Okay. Thanks, Ms. That's Sandra Marsh, the program coordinator at our Western Jamaica campus. So she was the one who just answered that question. Thank you for that. And we have another question. If accepted, can I defer entry to January 2026? And just going back to Dr. Mintako's presentation, where she mentioned that classes begin either in August for the MBA or September for the MSc programs. So there is no January intake for these programs. So this question asks, can you please ask each coordinator to go over the class schedule? So let's begin with MBA. And then
Ms. Hanlon, I think what we could do is just to share the slide from the presentation for that.
Okay, let's do that then. Thanks for that, indeed.
So you can move on to the other questions and I'll just bring it up and then you can come back to it.
Okay. 81 questions. Will we be required to purchase physical textbooks? So can just have any coordinator can just explain the whole matter of the materials that come with the tuition.
Good evening. I'm Ingrid Nelson. The course material that we provide with your tuition fee is we provide e-text and other course material. For example, in some cases, some courses might not have a core text, but the information is provided on the e-learning space. And all of that is included in your tuition fees. If you opt to choose to purchase physical textbooks, that's up to you, but we provide you with e-text for the most part.
Thank you very much for that, Ingrid. The next question, after the completion of the MSc accounting, how many exemptions will I earn towards the ACCA? So I'll ask the program coordinator or unit head of the finance and accounting unit to just take that. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nardia, the program coordinator for the MSc Accounting. At this time, we do not have any exemptions after the MSc in Accounting for the ACCA program. However, we are currently working on it, and as soon as we have them, we will inform our students.
Thank you very much for that.
Sorry. Janice, if I might add
Yes.
to that question on the accounting. However, when you finish the MSc in accounting, you automatically get designated as a chartered accountant by the ICAJ, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Jamaica. So while we work towards the exemption, so ACCA, it's also noteworthy that you will be designated a chartered accountant, which is also important.
Thanks for that, Dr. McBean. And just before we move on from that question, we have online with us Mr. Leighton McKnight, Executive in Residence here at MSBM and also a proud graduate of the MSc Accounting program. Leighton, would you want to just add anything to the discussion re ACCA as it relates to the MSc accounting?
Yes, well, as was mentioned by the project coordinator, good evening, everyone, and both our faculty, our presenters, and our prospects, most importantly. As it relates to the question, so ACCA doesn't give any exemption for a master's degree. Well, put it this way. ACCA is of the view that anybody doing their exams must do the final 4 subjects, regardless of what qualifications you have. So that's a given. From undergrad and masters, we are looking currently at the maximum number of exemptions we can get. So that is in train. As Dr. McBean mentioned, the masters is a route of entry for ICAJ. So in other words, to become a chartered accountant in Jamaica, you have to be a member of ICAJ. ACCA is a prescribed examination. The MSc in accounting is a prescribed examination. If you pass the MSc, you complete MSc in accounts, you apply to ICAJ, and there's a criteria. You'll have to do what we call an ethics test, and there are some what you call competence criteria that you'll have to meet. And a number of years before a qualification, it's 36 months in the first instance. So while the MSc is a route, I just want to make it clear that just like the ACCA, it's not automatic. In other words, it's a prescribed examination that is accepted by ICAJ. So once you pass ACCA or MSc, is the same treatment you'll get in terms of becoming a chartered accountant, which means you have to go through the application process and acceptance process to be designated as directed by the Institute of Chartered Accountants. I hope that makes it clear, Janice.
Yes, I hope it's clear to the prospects. But thank you very much for your response. Thank you. That was the same questions, right? Ms. Reed, I'm going to ask you to take this question and perhaps just elaborate about any other scholarship opportunities that are available. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Enlin. Currently we do not have any scholarships for these 2 programs that were listed in the question. That's MBA and MSc Data and Marketing and Data Analytics, sorry. But we have 2 scholarships for MSc Accounting and 2 for Corporate Finance per annum. We are in the process of seeking additional scholarships. We don't know when and how many we'll get and if we'll get, but we keep the students informed, and information on these scholarships when they are open would be circulated to the students on an annual basis. This is usually sent out via their coordinator, so and with the criteria for application and when all the things relating to the scholarship will be sent to the students. So it's open.
Okay, then. Thank you very much.
Sure, if I may add for that as well. So the scholarships that we have, the marketing scholarship as well as the scholarship that we have for the MBA. So I mentioned in the presentation that we've worked with SAPROD, and they have been pleased with the performance of the students, and the scholarships that we received actually came through part of that engagement. So again, it's an indication of the impact and the value that you create, and in turn, how those types of engagements between the business school and the private sector and all our stakeholders actually brings value back to the school and to you or prospective students. So, even as you come into the programs, you work with organizations, you can recommend that your organizations engage with the MSBM on the final projects, and engage with the MSBM through scholarships as well. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. we move on to the next question. I do not have 3 years post-grad experience, but over 14 years working experience. I just completed my undergrad degree. Would I need another 3 years work experience before being admitted to the MBA? So, Dr. Mintakor, perhaps just to speak about the accreditation as a larger thing in responding to this, I'm just going to ask you to do that.
Okay, no problem. So thank you for that question. And I suspect it will help to bring a little more light for others as well. So I do value the question. So the experience that our accreditors, Amber, looks at is not the years of experience prior to completing the first degree. They actually look at the years of work experience after the completion of your first degree. So the years before, quality years, but unfortunately, it's the number of years after that first degree that they consider. So for instance, we have applicants now who may have gone through 2 years, 8 months since the degree, some 2 years, 10 months. If it is the case that you would have gotten to the 3 years close to the close of application or the beginning of classes, then we can consider because you would have gotten to the 3 years by that point. But unfortunately, until you have gotten the full 3 years after the first degree, we cannot enroll you in the MBA program. And note, colleagues, note everyone, this is specific to the MBA program, not the other graduate programs. Thanks.
Thank you very much for that response. And the next question is will the recording be available after? And yes, we will send it out to all those who have registered for the event. I think we're coming up to the last question this way, but people are continuing to place questions in the Q&A tab, and our team is on hand and has been answering many of the questions. So we've actually come, I would want to say, officially to the end, but we will stay on for a further 10 minutes to just keep answering the questions, especially those that have been there before and we've not had a chance to be able to answer them so far. So it just gives me great pleasure again to just express thanks to everyone who has come. There is pinned to the chat is the mini survey form. We ask that you just complete that to just help us as we plan these events going forward, so that we are mindful of the needs of you who we really are trying to serve. So a few short questions so you can, that's pinned there. So we just ask you to just complete that. And we will in fact remain online for a further 10 minutes so that all the questions that have been asked in the Q&A tab, we will definitely attempt to answer it. So Camille has posted the link for that short survey, and we kindly ask that you assist us so that we can help you better and we continue. But many thanks to you all for taking the time out to be with us. And we hope that we have been able to provide useful information. And we encourage you, if you have started the application process, please go ahead and complete it. Those who haven't yet started, we hope that you have been convinced of the value of pursuing a graduate degree here at MSBM. And so we ask you to start the process. And of course, our team is here, ready and willing to assist you along that process. There were several. We will put in the chat again some numbers and email addresses again that you can contact us with. And I just hand over to Camille at this point.
Okay. Actually, I'm only interrupting you, Janice, because remember, we promised someone we would go back to a question that was asked earlier. I think it had to do with the course schedule, and Dr. Mintakoy was to bring the slide
yes,
on
the
screen. So
slide,
I just wanted
yes.
her to do that so that that person could see the response to their question.
Yes, and for the benefit of all. So the question was about the schedule for specific programs. So you can just go to slideshow mode to the other slideshows. Thank you so much. So you may take them through this. You can probably just take them through this just for emphasis again. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So let me come back here. So the Masters in Business Administration, the MBA, there are two streams. We have a weekday and a Sunday stream. So when you do make your application, indicate which of the streams you want to be in. The weekday stream will see students doing classes 3 days per week. And then for the Sunday stream, you'll be on for a full day on Sunday. For the accounting program, classes will be in the evenings in the week. For the MSc in corporate finance, the MSc in logistics and supply chain management, as well as marketing and data analytics, classes will be offered on Sundays, starting at 10 a.m. The exception here will be for the full-time corporate finance program, where classes will be offered both on Sundays and in the week. So it will be Sundays, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. for full-time corporate finance, as well as Wednesdays, 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. All right, and that's to facilitate the multiple courses. Of course, full-time, you'll be doing more courses than than part-time. For the CBMIS, classes will be held on evenings and on Saturdays. That's for the CBMIS. And then for the ERM program, classes will be held in the week, in the evenings from 5:30, 2 to 3 evenings per week. And of course, our program coordinators can update you on the specific days as well. I mentioned the logistics and marketing and data analytics programs already. Sundays, beginning at 10 a.m., ending at 5 p.m. And then for the MSc National Security and Strategic Studies, classes will be offered 2 evenings per week for part-time, and 4 evenings, 3 to 4 evenings per week for the full-time. And the MSc National Security and Strategic Studies will be offered in a blended format this year. That's one of the major updates to that program. And I do believe that's it, Chair. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I just want to highlight some information that has been placed in the chat. The email address to which the supporting documents may be sent. So just check that, please. That's very important. As I mentioned before, the application is not deemed complete until all the documents have been received. And of course, there's a link there for the short survey. So it's now by my watch 7:29. So I think we will stay until 7:35, just so we can address all the questions that have been put in the Q&A tab, and to ensure that we are responding to our prospective students. So thank you once again. And we just look forward, we really do look forward to welcoming you to the MSBM family. And we pride ourselves as being the premier business school, not just in Jamaica, but in the region. And that we have a team that is very caring and supporting, and just look forward to having you join us soon. So do keep in touch with us. The information is there. You have questions about finances. There was Miss Reed, well, I'm just going to ask you to put in the chat the specific email address for matters dealing with tuition, so that people can reach out directly about that. And as we have said, everyone who has registered will in fact get a recording of the event, so you can go through at your own leisure to just look back at some of the important information shared, some of the numbers shared, WhatsApp information shared, and just peruse so that you are well equipped as you submit your information and your application. But it has been our pleasure, certainly, to host you, and we hope that you found the session to be very meaningful and that you are convinced, those who haven't yet started the process, to join us soon. Thank you very much. So we'll stay on a bit. You'll just hear some music as we answer the questions in the background. Thank you very much and good evening.